Are you ready to check out some more new art supplies? I know I am. Sorry, that was probably a little bit too enthusiastic at the start there. I am sweating. It is so hot and it has affected my brain, so forgive me. Today we are here because I have more art supplies from Phoenix. Remember they sent us that lovely clicking watercolor travel set? Today I've got a few things to share with you. The main thing being this water-soluble oil paint sticks. Hello, welcome to my hands. Before we get started with the art supplies, just wanted to clarify, yes, this is a sponsored video. Yes, I have been paid to give my opinion, but my opinions are my own. Okay, with that said, let's have a look at our supplies. So, we have these Artist water-soluble oil paint sticks. And it says on here 8 pieces. I am just going to clarify that is an 8-piece set. It is 6 colours, not 8 colours. I've actually had a look at the packaging on this. And yeah, just wanted to make that absolutely clear to everyone that it includes the 6 colours plus the tin counts as a piece. And there is a palette knife inside as well. But yeah, this is the tin, front and back. There we go. Let's have a little look inside, shall we? We've got our logo on the front here. Ooh, like I said, it is very hot in the studio today. I'm slightly melting. Ooh, okay. Here we go. Oh, wow. These are bigger than I expected them to be, I'll be honest. I feel like they should be that way. Let's take one. They're not the easiest to get out. Come on. There we go. It is like a really big, chunky oil pastel. Well, it kind of is an oil pastel, I guess. We've got a little bit of, I think this is a little bit of oil that's just seeped onto the packaging, so it's a little bit sticky. But let's take a little look at one of these itself and see what we've got actually on the information. So we can see here it says Artist Water-Soluble Oil Paint Stick. And then it says that in a couple of languages. And then we have down the bottom here, this is titanium white number 104. It gives you light fastness and transparency information as well. So yeah, really good information actually on each of these, and it's right down the bottom as well. So it doesn't matter how far you get down, you're always going to have that information on you. It looks as well, I'm not going to unwrap it just yet. I will do when we actually come to using these, but this wrapper it's got perforations in it, so it looks like we can unwrap it at various points, expose a little bit of the paint stick. Now I'm going to be absolutely honest, I have never used a paint stick like this before. You've seen me use oil pastels before, but not oil paint sticks, and there is a difference. So oil pastels are made with a formula that does not dry. Paint sticks do dry. They are essentially oil paint, just in a different form. Lots of different companies do oil paint sticks. However, the difference with these ones is the water soluble, and we'll come to that in just a moment. I have, to go with this lovely set of oil paint sticks, some canvases. So this is traditional profile 12 by 12 inch square canvas. It is a pack of 4. Not only do I have this, I also have these ones, gallery profile. That just means that is the thicker edge. So these are 3/4 of an inch. This is 1 3/8 of an inch thickness. They are both the same quality canvas. They're both triple primed gesso, so they are ready to go. We are ready to use these straight off the bat. And I will be using these to do a piece of artwork using the oil paint sticks. But before we do that, I need to swatch these out and give them a test, and I'm not going to use one of my good canvases for that. I've got just a little mini canvas here. Now here's where we come to the water-soluble aspect and why I'm using a canvas and not watercolor paper. Now, you know me, if I swatch things out, I've used oil pastels before, a watercolor paper, multimedia paper, absolutely fine for that. However, as I said, these are not oil pastels. This is oil paint in a stick form. You cannot use it on paper. It's not going to spread properly. It's going to eat the paper. Essentially, the oils are going to really just dig into it and not want to work at all. So, must use a primed canvas. That being said, I know from using gouache paints, you can prime watercolor paper with acrylic primer. So if you want to do that and then use paper, absolutely fine. I've got pre-primed canvases. This is just a small cheap canvas that is pre-primed. So I'm going to use this to swatch out and test my supplies. Now, let's have a look at the colours that we've got. We've got titanium white. We've also got lemon yellow. We've got, oh, I get this out. Here we go. It's a little bit tight in there. Ah, okay, this one's stuck a little bit. We're going to come on to this in just a second. But yeah, you can see it's stuck just there. This is alizarin crimson. Let me pop these down here. I feel like I'm going to get a very messy desk. Ugh. I'm just going to take this plastic insert out. There we go. Pop these out. This one is ultramarine. This one is viridian hue. And then we have a Mars black. All of them have the same information on them with their light fastness, their transparency, all of the good information that we need. So great. And then of course we've got a little palette knife. That's a really nice palette knife. It's a nice handle as well. It's a number 3 palette knife. Plain beech handle, I want to say, maybe birch, but yeah, really nice. Right. Now, as I was peeling this out, can you see we've got in here this little bit of red that's stuck in here? If I picked up one of these straight away and tried to draw on here, it's not going to do anything. That is because the paint is actually inside the stick. It has a very thin covering. Essentially, the paint, because of the wax binder that's in it, starts to solidify on the outside. It creates a little bit of a skin. So to actually use these, we have to peel off the skin first. And to do that, I'm going to take the palette knife. You can see just how thick the skin is by using this. And then I'm just going to... I'm trying to get it all off in one piece. But you can see how that is peeling back. And there's a slight difference in the colour. I can actually see the edge of the skin just in there. This feels like it's turned into a horror thing. I'm skinning my oil paints. Right. So now we have this and messy hands, and now I can go ahead and use this on the canvas. Wow, that is bizarre. It feels wrong straight away. If you've used oil pastels, it feels like it should be firmer because the whole thing as you hold it is quite firm. But the paint going down is actually really buttery, and I feel like I should peel just a little bit more of this off. Now, when you stop using this and put it to the side, you can see it's peeling away, it will create a new skin. You could cover it in a bit of cling film if you wanted to prolong the life and not get the skin straight away. But there we go. You can see I've exposed a little bit more paint. Interesting. Okay, nice. Right. Okay, I'm already creating a bit of a mess here, so I'm going to get some water because these are water soluble, so we can clean up using water. I'll go into a little bit more of a discussion about that as I'm doing some swatching. But yeah, I feel like I need a rag, I need some water, I just need to kind of get myself set up, and then we will go ahead, swatch all of these out and have a bit of a chat. Okay, you can probably see a little bit clearer on here, that skin and how it peels off. And actually, I got a lot better at doing it. So by the time I got to the black here, can you see there, it actually peels away really nicely. I do now have lots of little bits of skin from these sticks. I'm not gonna throw these away. I'm not gonna waste them. I'm going to see if I can use them at a later date, because as I said, these are water soluble, which means I probably could break those back down into a usable paint. But right now we need to swatch these out. So for swatching, I am going to be using normal paintbrush and a little bit of warm water. Warm water because it's oil. Oil flows better when it's warm, so it makes sense. Warm water is going to make it flow better. Now, I'm using water which ordinarily oil paints, obviously, you're not going to do. Generally, water-soluble paints, you also shouldn't really use water to mix them. You absolutely can. If someone tells you you can't use water to paint water-soluble paints, tell them to go and do one, because no one should be policing your art. There are things that you can add to these paints. There are water-soluble oils and Gamsol and all that kind of stuff. I think I'll do another video about that where we talk about water-soluble paints in general and oil painting. But for this, I'm just going to use a bit of water because I want to see how they go to that kind of watercolour effect, which I know you can do with these. First of all, though, I'm just going to go and swatch these all out just as a crayon. And again, this feels so weird. Okay, so they actually go down really nicely. It's a really nice impasto technique. I'm going to come back to impasto work in just a minute. First, though, let's see what these do with just a little bit of warm water. Okay, that's weird. I have not oil painted for a very long time, but I do know the principles of oil painting, and it's something I'm going to be getting back into in the very near future. This doesn't feel like oil painting here when you put water in and you get this effect. This does, this doesn't. This kind of straddles a line. It feels like the oil colour equivalent of gouache. It's kind of right in that area. Do you know what I mean? Gouache is not quite watercolour, not quite acrylic. This is straddling that line between oil paint and watercolour. I'm going to go ahead and mix the rest of these, but I'm also going to put in a little bit of white as well, so we can see kind of a little bit of tone shift on all these. Let's get a full spectrum. Okay, let's be real. I am a mess, and you can see I'm a mess mainly with one colour, which is also the worst performing colour here. I have... Right, I'm not going to lie. I have struggled with this colour. If you look at the rest of these, like the yellow, yeah, it's disappeared a little bit with the water, but it did spread really nicely, and I didn't clean much of the red out of the brush, and user error, fine. The red spread beautifully, the blue, beautiful, the black, beautiful. They've mixed with the white really, really nicely. Stick on stick, great. This Viridian hue, I don't know if it's user error or if there's something wrong with this particular stick or this colour or this pigment. It just doesn't want to break down as a water-soluble paint. It's pretty much doing what an oil paint would do in water, and it's splitting. You can see down here the pigment it's just swimming in dots. It just is not breaking down nicely at all. You see the red has broken down really, really nicely, and you can see it is performing like a liquid watercolor. I don't have any linseed oil or anything to be able to melt these down and try anything like that. I've even gone online and done a bit of troubleshooting to see if I can figure out a way to get this working. Some people have said to use hotter water. I've got hot water here. I've tried it with hot water, I've tried it with cold water, I've tried it with warm water. People have said different brushes, so I've gone in with a soft brush, I've used it with a really stiff brush. and yet again, just not performing nicely. And I don't want to say this is a limitation of the paint, because as you can see, the others have worked extremely well. And honestly, when it comes to doing a piece of artwork, I wasn't going to use the Viridian anyway. We've got a classic primary set here. If you mix all of your primaries together, you're going to get brown, you're going to get a muddy mess, and that's not what I want. So I'm going to limit myself when I actually come to be doing a piece of artwork. But yeah, for some reason, the Viridian, not for me. All of the others, though, really, really nice. Performed really well. There is one other thing I want to test, and that is mixing these together just as oil paints. So I'm going to take a little bit of this here, and I am going to just smush it down and work it. And that is becoming much creamier, much nicer. I think maybe if I did this with the Viridian, oh yeah, that's coming really, really nice. So if I were to put a little bit of water on this, or a little bit of any oil color medium, it would become just a little bit looser and a little bit. At the moment, it's like a really nice stiff oil paint, but you could change the consistency of the paint if you really wanted or needed to. Let's just wipe this off, and I'm going to take a little bit of red, just a little bit. I'm going to pop that in there. Remember, yellow is overpowered very, very easily. See that? See how quickly the red overpowers the yellow. We've now mixed a new colour, which is really, really nice that we can do that, because now we can create a palette of colours off to the side to use for a painting. Great, lovely, and that's good if you're working with a limited amount of colours. I know that Phoenix do a whole range of these colours, and Phoenix, if you're watching, I know you probably are, I would love to test out the whole range and get a full spectrum of these colours, because I'd love to see which of them work best and which of them maybe are a little bit more difficult to work with. I want to see now if I take a little bit of this Viridian, pop it on here, and just work this. Because if I can troubleshoot this, if I can fix this right now, then that would be amazing. Okay, so it's worked up a little bit smoother, it's a little bit creamier. However, I can tell already that this still is not going to give me what I'm looking for in a wash. It's a little bit better, but not quite like the others. And this is the limitation of water-soluble and the misunderstanding of what water-soluble is. Water-soluble oil paints. All water-soluble oil paints can be mixed with any oil medium. The idea of water-soluble paints, water-soluble oil paints, is that they're easy to clean at the end. So yes, you can mix them with water. Yes, you can paint with them like that. That is not the intended use. There are mediums out there. There are oils you can mix in this to make them a little bit smoother and not affect the soluble effect of the paint. But there are mediums out there specifically designed for water-soluble oil paints. I think this Viridian would be absolutely beautiful with one of those additives to put in there to make it a little bit smoother. I don't have any of them, so I can't do that today. I'm testing these as they come out of the box. But when you think about this as an oil paint, you're actually getting quite a lot of paint in one of these sticks. This is 37 milliliters of paint in one of these sticks. That's actually quite a lot, and as you can see down here, it mixes really, really nicely. Now I've got my hot water up here, and you can see it's not really cleaned out these bristles, but if I mix this down here, we're going to probably get a lovely brown. This is exactly what I was talking about. We're getting muddy colours. So I am going to take one of the large canvases, which are really nice quality, and I'm going to do limited colour study of water. I felt appropriate. Water-soluble paints, paints and water. So for that, I'm literally just going to use the blue, the white, maybe a bit of black. These other ones, I'm going to go ahead and put away. In fact, I'm going to wrap the ends in a bit of cling film, saran wrap, whatever you call it, wherever you are in the world, and then get to work. So I started this with the thought of, well, of course we're going to paint water because that just fits with the theme. Water-soluble oil paints, why not? And then as I started, I just thought to myself, I need to be a little less serious about this. I just need to have fun. This is a brand new art supply, and the best way to learn a new supply is just to have fun and play around. So I am going to go really abstract. I'm going to go dark to light, top to bottom, abstract shapes, give it a watery feel, watery vibe, but that's pretty much it. I'm going to play with just using the stick. I'm going to play with adding water afterwards, with washes, with impasto, using the palette knife. I just want to have fun. So that essentially is what you're going to see now. Just me having a little bit of fun in the studio. Sit back, relax, enjoy. I'll come back to you in just a few moments with my full overview, my thoughts on the supplies. Okay, so I have had fun playing with these lovely sticks, and I think that's probably my takeaway, my conclusion. These are fun. I think they're a bit of an entryway. They're a gateway into oil paint if you've never painted with oils before. They're a little bit difficult to use to start with, but through doing a nice abstract piece, I got to really just play with these, spread them around, not really worry about likeness or anything like that. I was just making marks. And by doing that, I've actually come to appreciate these. I do think with a little bit of practice, these could be an amazing art supply. But that's the caveat. I think you need a little bit of practice. They need a little bit of work. I also think they would work better with some of the mediums you can get for water-soluble paints, or with, now it does say, hold on a second, it says on here what it is made up of. Linseed oil and natural white beeswax. So I think with an additional bit of linseed oil as well, you would probably get a really smooth, good oil paint to be able to paint with. I would like to try the full set. I think I'd like to get more colours in and try some blending with some light tones, some earth tones as well. They're always a little bit tricky with any kind of paint that you get. So yeah, that I think would be really fun. Also have to say the canvas as well. So this has been, well, it kind of looks better upside down. This has been a really nice canvas to work on. It's super springy, really taut. You can hear that. It's like a drum. That's what a canvas should sound like. But yeah, I mean, abstract piece, good quality art supplies, good quality canvas. There's not a lot of bad here. There's a lot of good. I think the only really bad point is what I said earlier with the Viridian Green. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts. Have you tried these paint sticks before? Have you tried other paint sticks before? I know there are paint sticks that are not water soluble, that are just plain oil paint sticks. Maybe I should give those a try as well. Leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts. You'll also find a load of codes and everything else down there as well. But for now, I'm going to say I really hope you've enjoyed today's video. And until next time, goodbye.